Good morning and welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Kat, and if you're new here, we have been baking our way through Some of My Best Friends Are Cookies by Emelia Jackson. It is school holidays here at the moment and we've been getting some work done. You may just be able to see it out of the window. So I haven't been able to record for a couple of weeks and my kids have been really missing getting a special sweet treat every week. So today, the next recipe in the book is Buckwheat chocolate brownie cookies. I have never made a brownie cookie. I've made brownies lots of times, but I think it'll be fun to have little bite-size, hopefully, brownie cookies. So the very first thing we need to do is melt together some chocolate and some butter. I've got some Cadbury baking chocolate here, and we need 240 grams. And we also need 40 grams of butter. We're just going to melt this together in the microwave. It says 60-second intervals. So I'm just going to do that and then I'll be back. So while that's melting, I'm going to get my sugar and my eggs into the mixer. We need 150 grams of caster sugar. And 2 eggs. And we're just going to whisk these together. So our chocolate and our butter is nice and combined. And our eggs and our sugar are light and fluffy. So to this, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 30 grams of buckwheat flour. I've never cooked with buckwheat flour before, but it looks like a slightly grayer version of white flour. And then we're going to fold in our butter chocolate mixture. Now it says to use a tablespoon to scoop out these biscuits. It looks like I've got more than 12 tablespoons worth of batter in here, and it's only supposed to make 12, but we prefer our biscuits to be slightly on the smaller side anyway, so I am going to go with it. It says to leave room for spreading, so that's what I'll do. And you can't see what I'm doing. This batter is very sticky, which I suppose because it's a brownie type mixture is not unexpected. I'm going to need a few more trays, I think. Well, that's quite a few more than 12, but we'll see how we go. I have my oven preheated to 200 degrees and I'm going to bake these for 10 minutes. So these have only been in the oven for 5 minutes. It says to bake them until they're puffed up and cracked on the surface, which I think these are. And some of them are starting to smell burned. So I'm going to take them out and I'll let them cool on the trays and see how they are. I'm going to show you these ones, which are on my cheaper trays, and they're just ever so slightly dark on the bottom edges. So we'll see. So I've got all of my cookies out of the oven. They've cooled on the trays and I've transferred them to this cooling rack to just make sure that they're completely cold. The ones that were baked on my expensive cast iron trays look really good. They're still quite flexible. I'm not sure if that will change as they cool further. The ones that were on my cheap trays are burned. I only baked them for 5 minutes at 200 degrees, so I am not sure, unless I was just meant to make 12 piles with the tablespoon mix measure. I don't know. I feel like if I'd only got 12 out of this batter, they would have been way too big. But in the picture, there's nothing for scale, so I can't tell how big they were supposed to be. But let's give both a unburned one and a burned one a try and see what we think. So the unburned one is very, very soft inside, very fudgy, almost like it's not quite cooked all the way through. Very, very soft. Quite a nice flavour, but very, very soft. Now this one is quite burned on the bottom. Definitely tastes burned. The texture is maybe better. Still quite soft, particularly in the centre. Get down. Chocolate's bad for dogs. I don't know. I feel like the kids will probably eat them. Get down. Sit. The kids will probably eat them, but they're not my favourite. Maybe the temperature is too high. Maybe I made them too small. Not really sure. The flavour's good. It's quite bitter because it's 70% dark chocolate. But I'll probably stick to just making my normal brownies from now on. Thanks for being here as we attempted to make these brownie cookies. I ended up with 20 unburned ones and 10 that are burned on the bottoms. I'm sure the kids will still eat them even though they are overcooked. I'm not sure that I will make them again, not even to try and see if I stuffed up somewhere. I think in general I just prefer regular brownies rather than brownie cookies. But thanks for being here today. I will pop another one of my videos here that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.